What is going on, everybody? And with this new gaming generation, there has been a lot of new trends that have been set, or if it's not new trends, it's older trends being amplified. And it seems like one of those trends happens to be game delays. It seems like ever since the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One have launched, there's been quite a number of big games and even small games that have gotten game delays. Remember, Watch Dogs was delayed. Watch Dogs was supposed to be an exclusive, well, not an exclusive, but it was supposed to be a launch title for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, and it's even on the back of the PlayStation 4 box, and it got delayed till May of 2014. That's just one example. The most recent example is Bloodborne. Apparently, it's gotten delayed another month. So now instead of February, it's coming out in March. And from what I've seen, it seems like this issue, there's a dividing spectrum when it comes to the issue. There's a camp that doesn't really mind that games are being delayed. Then there's the other camp that are insanely pissed off and they're mad as hell and they can't take it anymore. And it reminds me of movie scenes where the person opens the window and yells out as loud as they can so that everybody around them can hear them. And what camp do I fall under? And honestly, I'm going to go towards the camp that thinks that game delays are not that big of a deal. And I'm even going to go a little step further, is that I actually like game delays more often than not. I don't like them in the sense that I now have to wait longer or that others will have to wait longer. No, I love it in the sense that game delays, the point of them is that it's supposed to give the developers more time to fix any issues that the game may have, put some more polish on it, you know, the good stuff. And to be quite honest, there's been a lot of games that I've played, and after playing them, I have thought to myself, you know what, this game needed to be delayed. This needed to be taken back to the workbench to be worked on some more. So I just don't see, honestly, how one person can be upset that a game is being delayed. Because I would think that we would all want all of our games that come out, we would want them to be great. We don't want them to have really major issues. And while we don't expect them to be perfect, I'm sure some people expect them to be perfect, but while most of us don't expect them to be perfect, we expect them to be really good and really sound. And it's like I said, there's been games that have come out that really could have used that delay. Here's one example being Battlefield 4. I was really disappointed in Battlefield 4 because I loved Battlefield 3 so much. And honestly, I got converted from Call of Duty to Battlefield because of Battlefield 3. So I was really looking forward to Battlefield 4, and I don't know what the hell DICE and EA were thinking. I mean, I don't know how it is today, because I haven't played it in a while, but when it launched, and even in the following few months after it launched, it had lots of issues, and it needed to be worked on more. It could have definitely used a game delay, and I'm assuming EA has felt the same way because Battlefield Hardline isn't seeing a release this year like most thought would happen, and it's getting delayed till next year. And you know what? That's probably for the better. I'm hoping the game turns out well. Another big example, and the reason I'm going to bring this up is because Dragon Age Inquisition is almost in our hands. We are almost about to have Dragon Age Inquisition, and it's a great feeling because I'm a big Dragon Age fan. And I've been wanting a true sequel A true sequel to Dragon Age Origins, because Dragon Age Origins is probably in my top 5 favorite games from last generation. And notice what I said there. Notice what I said there. A true sequel. But Dan, why are you saying that? Didn't Dragon Age 2 exist? I mean, it came out in 2011, so it had to have existed, right? Right? Well, yeah, you're right. It does exist. But the problem with Dragon Age 2 is that it is not a true sequel to Dragon Age Origins. And why is it not a true sequel to Dragon Age Origins? It's because EA rushed the game. They rushed it out way too soon, before it was even ready. That's why BioWare had to scrap what they could together to make somewhat of a game to be pushed out there just so they can meet that deadline that EA had. And without going into extreme detail, because I could go on for a while on all the problems with Dragon Age 2, when you play it, you could tell the game was rushed. Because a lot of stuff about it is bland, and you could tell they just threw it together just to make deadline. That's all I'm going to really say about that. But guess what? That game probably needed more time to work on it. It could have used a game delay. Yes, it could have used a game delay. And look at Dragon Age Inquisition that's coming out in 5 more days. It got delayed 1 month, and it's coming out 3 years after Dragon Age 2. Meaning that BioWare has had a good amount of time to work on the game. And look at the results. The game looks really good. I expect it to be a really good game. So I don't see what the problem is with games getting delayed and getting the developers more time to work on it. I don't see what the issue is. I mean, yeah, granted, in a way, it can be kind of disappointing, especially if you were looking forward to said game. But at the same time, would you rather the game be rushed out and be a broken mess? Or if it's not a broken mess, it just has issues that might hinder your experience? Or do you want the developers to have more time to work on it so that when you eventually get the game, it's really good and there's little to no issues with it? I'm for the latter there. And also another thing I've noticed is that some people, it seems like that they need that new game. They need that new game. They want that new game. In their minds, it seems like gaming is dry right now. There's really little to nothing out there on the market right now. And that they need these new games because there's really nothing to play. And honestly, I don't get that point, because if you just walk into any GameStop, there's wall-to-wall games on all platforms. You want to know what I do? If I'm looking forward to a game and for one reason or another it gets delayed or something happens and I can't get the game, you want to know what I do? I take another game from my shelf and I play that game. There is plenty of games out there to play. And I notice a lot of people have backlogs of games. Why don't you look at this as an opportunity to catch up on some of these backlogs of games, now that you have to wait longer for the newer game? I see that as a good thing, not a bad thing. And I see that as kind of a win-win. You get more time to play other games, and the developers get more time to polish said game that just got delayed. Now, I understand that some games have been delayed, and it comes out, and there's still issues with the game. I fully understand that. But see, to me, that's not really because the game got delayed. That's because it's a developer issue there. It's not a game delaying issue. It's a developer issue. Because quite honestly, if the game wasn't delayed, you were just going to get those issues earlier. So basically, instead of dealing with those issues later, you have to deal with them earlier. It doesn't really change anything. And quite frankly, the funny thing is that if you happen to deal with those issues earlier, you might find yourself saying, man, I wish the game was delayed now. So, yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I don't see what the big deal about game delays are. I really don't.